Hi, I'm Stacey, and welcome to Beyond the Mic. This is a space where we dive deep into the moments, stories, and breakthroughs that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Together, we'll explore personal growth, mental health, and the motivation you need to create lasting change. This is more than just a podcast. This is your moment to break free, rewrite your story, and step boldly into the life you've always dreamed of. It's time to stop holding back, to rise, to thrive, and to transform. Let's go beyond the mic. On today's episode, we're going to talk about embracing ourselves even on the hard days. I wanted to talk about this one because right now I'm struggling a lot with self-image because, like I mentioned on the previous episodes, I had some health issues and I didn't exercise or even move really for about a month. And with that, I didn't eat unhealthy, but I did eat my 3 meals like I always do. And I gained 10 pounds to be exact. And people might be like, oh my God, I really like complaining about 10 pounds. But when I think especially, no, not really. But maybe, especially women, we struggle a lot with weight. And when you like in your mind, and it can be with anything. It can be if before you had kids you were very thin, and now that you had kids and you gained some weight and you haven't been able to lose it, then the insecurity comes because you already have an image of how you used to look like, and you want to go back to how you used to look like. Or if you struggle with weight your whole life and you've never have achieved the body that you want, but you've always seen it in other people, I think you start to compare yourself a lot, and you struggle with that. I think for men is the same thing. Like if you're not muscular, or you're like if you're too thin or too big, if then maybe it's hard for the men because they're the ones that have to approach the woman, and they're not the ones, but typically men approach the women, and it's like for courting and and for wanting to go above, go beyond a friendship. And if they're not secure in how they look like, it's difficult for them as well. And why am I talking about this? Because today's episode, I wanted to talk about embracing yourself even on the hard days, even when you don't feel worthy of love, really, because that's what it is. Like if you don't accept who you are, then you truly don't believe you're worthy of love. And since I'm struggling with that, I wanted to, I'm pretty sure like if I'm struggling with it, someone else is struggling with it as well. And I wrote something and I wanted to read. It's a little long, so I'm not gonna remember, but here it is. We all have those days, the ones where we feel like we're not enough, where the weight of the world presses a little harder on our shoulders, the days when self-doubt creeps in, when the reflection in the mirror feels unfamiliar, when we wonder if we're worthy of love, our own love. But here's the truth. Loving yourself isn't just for the easy days, the moments when everything is falling into place. It's for the messy days, the uncertain days, the days when you feel like you've fallen short. Because true self-love is not conditional, it's a promise. A commitment to embrace yourself through it all. So today we're going to go beyond the surface, beyond the highlight reel, and diving deep into what it really means to love yourself. Even on the hard days. Because when we do that, when we give ourselves grace, we open the door to love others in a way that's pure, genuine, and full of compassion. And I wrote that last part because we can't give what we don't have. When people are negative all the time, that's what they have in their hearts. When people are very that show love to others is because they have a love within themselves. You can't give something that you don't have. If you're envious, it's because you have envy in you. If you anything that you project or that other people project to you, it's not personal. It's what they have in their hearts. It's not about you. It's about themselves. It's always about the other person. And I think when we realize that everything that happens around us, it's not about ourselves. I think we can learn to detach ourselves and just live a life that it's more genuine for ourselves. And I think that when we learn to love ourselves in the way that's pure, that we give ourselves grace, we're able to give that to others, and how beautiful that is. I think before it's so important when you are wanting to find that partner that's forever. I think that instead of trying to find that partner, is trying to find yourself first. Just give yourself the time to really know who you are, what you like, what your values are, what life you really want to have. And with that, then and heal all the traumas that you have, or at least attempt to, or be, you know, actively trying to heal them, because some things that they just take time. And I think when we do that, then we can, when we learn to accept and love ourselves, then like I said, at the end, we are we open the door to love others in a way that's pure, that's genuine, and full of compassion. And I think we all want that. I think we all want to be understood. I think we all want to be loved in a way that's pure, in a way that there's compassion, that there's understanding. Self love is not about being perfect, is about embracing who you are, even on the hard days. And it can also be, your upbringing. If you didn't, if you were born into a family that they do a lot of belittling. And I think in Mexican families, especially, well, that's the only family that I know. Well, the only culture that I grew up in. Mexican families tend to belittle you a lot. Like they tend to bully you, and I think it has like a good connotation and like a really bad one, because in one, you're born into a family where you learn the hard way, and so when you go into the real world, I think you have a little bit of a shell because like they tell you like really ugly things at home, so you can, when they say it out there, they don't hurt as much. But at the same time, it can also you can also learn to accept it, and it's unacceptable. Like it's a behavior that it's like, oh, you're so dumb, or how stupid, did you really do that, like all those little things that they tell you when and someone that's super healthy, that was born into a super healthy family, they're like, oh, I didn't go through that. And it's just me, right? But yeah, it's, you can learn to accept it, and it's unacceptable. So it can also be your upbringing, and also like our brain is wired for negative. It's negative biased, and we have comparison and social pressures, and like all these little things that play a role for that. So we have to switch, negative talking, or like a negative self-talk, to being self-compassionate, to, instead of saying, I'll never be good enough for this, it's like, oh, I tried, I'll do better next time, I'm learning, it's okay. Because we wouldn't, sometimes the way that we talk to each other, like to ourselves, we wouldn't talk that way to another person. And And this even goes like for parenting as well. The way that we talk to our children is not the same way that you would talk to another adult, or the way that we treat them as well. You know, like they're not, if they're misbehaving, you know, because they're not listening to you and they're not doing exactly what you want them to do, you don't take away whatever they have. Really angry manner, you wouldn't, if you were having a conversation with your friend and they were on their phone and they're not listening and they're not paying attention, they're not doing, I mean, they're not behaving the way that you want them to behave, you wouldn't take their phone away like in a very angry manner. You just wouldn't do that. And the way that we talk to ourselves is the same way. Sometimes we're so negative and we put ourselves so down, like, oh, you're dumb, you're never going to be able to do this, who do you think you are, like all these ugly things that we tell ourselves. You wouldn't say that to your friend. It's just so crazy that we allow to treat ourselves in such a negative way that then it translates to allowing ourselves to be treated by others the same way that we treat ourselves. So we have to work on that, because we are worthy of having good relationships, of being in non-toxic relationships. We are worthy of being respected, being treated with love, with kindness, to be understood, or at least try. Because we're never going to be fully understood, to be honest. We're all different, so we have to change the way that we talk to ourselves. And I am very guilty of that. I tend to be pretty tough on myself, especially right now. Like I mentioned, I'm struggling with body image because I gained weight, and it's been difficult. Just even looking at myself in the mirror, just I gain weight from my face, and I hate it, because then, you know, there's other people that just gain it on their curves, and that's beautiful. I wish I was that way. And then the one that does, like, they hate it. So we're never satisfied, right? But it's just difficult. Do a lot of mirror talking. Just look at yourself, and it's so crazy when you look at yourself in the mirror. It's like almost you don't recognize that person, and you're talking to someone else, and talk to yourself like in a third person. That helps me. But maybe I'm just a little cuckoo. I don't know. But do that. You know, the myth of perfection, and how we crave and we want to attain this thing that's almost impossible, because it makes us feel stuck. Sorry, give me one second. It makes us feel stuck, because no matter how much we achieve, no matter how much we try, it's always going to be out of our reach, and we're never going to meet. And perfection is a moving target. You're never gonna, like, it's almost like you're about to attain it, and then it moves again, or just like, I'm there, and then they're just a little bit faster than you are. And it's it's something that you can't chase as much as you want to, much as you, yeah, as much as you want to. Like, it's unattainable, and you're gonna go crazy. And it can also do the opposite thing. It can paralyze you, because you always think, I don't know, I'll say my scenario right now. When things align, I'll work out. When I have someone to take care of my son, both of my children, sorry. When I did all the housework, when I finished homeschool, when I finished all these little things that I have in my head, or things that I know that I need to do before I do, you know, before I work out, then I'll work out. And it never works that way. Sometimes I have to wake up early. Sometimes I do it in the middle of the day. Sometimes I do it when I'm at my most, you know, unmotivated time. I just do it when things don't align because you're or I just don't do it at all because it doesn't happen. It's already the end of the day and they're like, "Okay, when things align the next day, I'll do it." And it doesn't happen that way. Life is never going it paralyzes you because before I know it, it's already been 2 3 days that I haven't worked out because things didn't align. But what if I said, Marcel is sleeping, and even though I have to cook for everyone, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna put myself first. And I can give them a snack once Marcel wakes up, and I can give him a snack to Milan. And once I'm done, then I'll cook for everyone. But I'm always putting other people's needs first, which food is very important, of course, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from. But I put myself first because I know I can provide that at a later time. I can give them a snack. They're not going to be without food. But if I just say no, like I have to make food right now, and then I already made food, then I'm like, well, I'm hungry now because I'm watching the food, and then I eat. And I'm like, well, I can't work out because now my belly is full, and I have to wait. And then I wait, and then something happens, and it's just life. Nothing works out the way that we want it to. So you just have to do it. And comparison can also be such a thief. Now with social media, it Instagram, TikTok. I don't know if people even use Facebook anymore. It's such a thief because we all post our pretty moments. We all post when our children are laughing and when they're having a good time, when we went to the mall, when we went to the movies, to the zoo, all these things that we do because we want to share. I am all for sharing. I know some people are like, no, you have to do private, blah, blah. I think whatever you decide, it's good. But I want to see other people be happy in their lives, and I get happy when they post their families. And I went on vacation, like I'm like, oh, and I like looking at it because it makes me feel like I'm there too, like it's just. But it can also be, we also have to limit ourselves because if you're not in a good mental state and you are on social media and you see these things and you're not in the right mindset, it can create jealousy, it can create envy, it can create why am I why don't I look like this? 'Cause, like, I don't know, I'm looking at a fitness coach or something, like, or a mom of five that has like this beautiful body, and like I can start to compare myself to them, and I don't know their life. I don't know what they've been through. What if that person already went through my stage years ago, and now they're in a place where their body is the way that it is now? And or what if it's just genetics and she went back to the body? I don't know, like what if their family like really took care of her after giving birth, and like she had meals and she did all these things to, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but we have to be careful with what we watch, and we have to be self-aware. I think social media is a beautiful tool, but we also have to be self-aware where we at. And okay, right now I shouldn't be watching this right now because I'm not feeling I'm in the right state of mind to be watching all the highlights of everyone. And that's what they're called, highlights. We're gonna post our best times, our best bodies, our best vacation, our best times with our spouses, and so we have to be careful, and we have to find the beauty in imperfection as well. flaws makes us human and relatable, and it's just, I love seeing when influencers, I don't know, they have this beautiful, they're thin, and but then they've had kids, and then they show us their bellies with like stretch marks. Or I see someone that's thin but you can see the stretch marks. It gives me confidence at the same time, because I'm like, oh, someone, it looks like, from just like, I guess, clothes, it looks like a beautiful, I mean, and it is a beautiful body, but there is flaws in it, and it makes it real. And we have to be able to see beauty and imperfection. Perfection is so, like I said, unattainable. I watched this, it's a documentary. I don't know if it's a document, I don't know, I don't even know what it is. It was such a weird thing that I watched on Netflix. It's With Love by Megan or something. It's like the I don't know who, like the family in the UK that was brought back to to the United States because they didn't like the way they handle things. And I was watching it, and it was a good documentary or a series or whatever you want to call it, but there was too much perfection. Like the way that she talked, the way that she dressed, the way that she did everything. It was like too perfect for me. And while it was lovely to watch, at the same time, like I wondered, and I'm like, well, that's not relatable. I watched it and it was like, oh, cool, but I can't recreate that in my home. Like, I don't know. It was such a bizarre thing to watch because there was too much perfection, and they tried to make it relatable, and it wasn't relatable. So when I was watching it, it was odd. And I'm not saying not to strive for something better, not to strive for to better yourself and just to be in a better place, but do not obsess with the idea of being perfect, because you're never gonna get there. And we also have to let go of the idea that I'll be happy when, because that's never gonna happen either. When we attain the goals that we want them to, I can assure you, like 90% of the time, or 99.9% of the time, of everyone that achieves something that's great, something that's small, something, whatever it is, like, I don't know, let's say you worked really hard and you bought yourself a car, you bought yourself your home, you bought yourself a mattress because you didn't have one, or you bought yourself a couch, a blender, whatever it is, something that you worked really hard to get. 99.9% of the time, they're not happy when their happiness is not tied to the thing. Or I don't know, they worked really hard and they achieved, and they're very happy maybe in the moment, but it fades away. You're happy when you're in your new home, but then 1 month, 2 months pass by, and it's just a thing. Just a car, it's just a blender, it's just what it brought you happiness for a little bit of time. But so don't tie happiness to I'll be happy when. Like, be happy now, be happy in the moment, be happy in the journey, be happy in all the steps that you have to take to achieve that goal, that thing, or whatever it is that you want. Because the external milestone is not going to give you the happiness that you think it's going to give you. We have to shift from I need to fix myself to I'm worthy now. And it is okay to want to improve, but you have to accept the way that you are in this moment, the way that you think, the way that you look, the way that everything, so you can move on to a better place. Because I've seen many people that
worked really hard in their bodies, and they have this beautiful body now, and but they didn't fix their mind. And even though they look the way that they wanted to look, they're not that person because they never worked on themselves. And so they have this beautiful body, but they're still the other person with overweight. And so you have to work two and two together, so you can um, so you can have a better outcome, because at the end of the day, the only person that's losing, it's you. And I mean, I don't know, like, once I lose weight, I'm gonna be confident. No, like, be confident right now. Like, be confident the way that you look, so that when you have a body, it's 10 times stronger. And don't think that I'm gonna be worthy once I have X and Y. Like, no, like, you're worthy right now, and you're gonna feel way better once you achieve a thing that you want. It's also important to celebrate small wins, like buying a new TV, a mattress, a bed frame. I don't know, and celebrate with treating yourself with a coffee, a chocolate, a face, routine. Like, I don't know. It was such a tough day, and uh, but I was finally able to do what I said I was going to do, and so I'm gonna treat myself. And even if it's not a big win, if it's a small win, I don't know, like, just because we're talking about my example, I go back to this, but I don't know, maybe you're not in the body that you want, but you worked out today, so you're like, oh, good. Just treat yourself with a face, routine, or whatever it is, but you have to celebrate the small wins to motivate yourself a little more, to keep going. And you have to show up for yourself daily, and practice, self-love habits, the mere affirmations and gratitudes. And you know start small, and just say, I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of respect, I am enough as I am right now. I deserve success, I deserve happiness. Say all the things that you want other people to tell you, because there's little things that sting, or maybe things that we haven't healed. I don't know, people don't tell you you're a good mother enough, but you can tell yourself. And if you like yourself in the mirror, and you give all the things that you need, then you're gonna be full, and you don't need it from other people. You're enough. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm a badass. uh, you have endured so much, and you haven't cracked. You have stayed strong in the toughest times. Um, you always do so much for others without expecting anything back. You are a blessing to others. You are beautifully made. God made you for a purpose. You leave people's lives better than when you walked out. Like, say all those things that you want to hear. You change lives. You're you're beautiful. You have a beautiful smile. You're gonna achieve great things. This is just the beginning. It's okay to fail, and this is gonna make you stronger. And like, all the other things that you want other people to tell yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and just say it. If you need to, just set boundaries. There's people that you just need to be a little bit away from, if not remove completely. But remove it, such a difficult thing for me. So I think, and I don't know if I agree to completely remove people. unless it's like really, really toxic. But, just don't spend so much time with people that don't bring you that, the thing that you need, the energy, protect your energy. Say no without guilt. If it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't, if it's not aligned to what you want, just say no. Limit your screen time, like we mentioned, and prioritize rest and sleep. I used to feel so guilty when I would sleep when my baby was sleeping, and I still do a little bit, but I have I think I'm better now. Um, because I was like, well, what am I doing? Like, I'm just resting. I'm doing nothing. I mean, so unproductive. But resting is so important. It brings you, like, it energizes you. If we don't rest, our mind doesn't work well. And just don't feel guilty for resting and sleeping. Sleeping is such a good medicine, if you want to say it, because when you're well rested and when you put it together with just doing the things that you want to do, like um, with your goals, it's like the perfect formula for success, I think, because you're no longer you're no longer without energy, because we tend to say like, okay, well, I have to work out, so I'm gonna wake up like at 4 in the morning, and and then you're not resting. You're like, oh wait, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and I mean that's life. Things don't come easy, and everything comes with a price. But if you're able to manage your time um, well, then you have time for everything. We all have the same 24 hours in our day, but we all like if you manage it correctly, then you'll be good. So and remind progress, not perfection. As long as you're having progress, it's okay. And things will come because you're gonna get motivated once you see the progress. You're gonna see like, okay, this is working, I can keep going. But you have to be consistent as well. So it's just the little things that play into all of this. But yeah, I encourage you. I encourage you to uh, do small things for self love. Self love habits. Today, I encourage you to take, well, moms. I'm talking to moms. I encourage you to take 30 minutes away from the kids. If you're with a husband, if you're with a spouse, if you're with a partner, if you're with the mom, whoever, 30 minutes alone time. I encourage you. Don't look at in the phone. That doesn't count, because then it's gonna feel like you spent time with 10 million people, because that's literally what you're doing. Just alone time with your thoughts, with everything, and or I don't know, journal, um, read a book, um, listen to music, do something, or meditate, talk to God, pray, um, sleep 30 minutes. I don't know, like I encourage you to do something, do the little mass that you wanted to do, and just 30 minutes for yourself. That's where it can start, and I think you're gonna see a lot of difference. Your partner, if you're with a partner, your partner's gonna see a difference of just like 30 minutes away from chaos, because when you have more than one, I think that's when chaos starts to like form. When you have one, I know you're like, oh, you don't know my son, like he's crazy, and I understand it. I understand there's some boys and some girls that are a little crazy, but once you have to, you're like, oh my goodness. If I thought that was crazy, this is crazy. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m., there's people that have 10, 15. I don't know. I could never. But if they can, all power to them. But I encourage you to do a small habit of self-love, one of the things that you wanted to do. Um, and yeah, comment down below what you did and how it worked out. And um, you can send us a picture doing the thing that you want. Whatever it is, I encourage you to love yourself. And I think if we all learn to love ourselves, what a different world we would be living in. Because there would be no hatred. Because if you love yourself, you don't hate others. You know, like you learn to have grace and compassion to yourself, and then you realize other people are going through that too, and you can change it. You can do anything, but you can be that hand, you know, like when someone places their hand on your shoulder and it feels like, you know, that thing, I don't even know if there's a name, but you feel like relief, where like someone just puts their hand on your shoulder and you're like, okay, someone's with me. I think we all want that, to have that person that's with us, that have that person that understands us, but it all starts with us. So look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself all those beautiful things that you are, all those beautiful things that nobody tells you, all those beautiful things that you're worthy of, and you'll see that you no longer need the approval from other people, because you have it within you, and it's no longer personal on anything. People can live their lives, you can live yours, and you can go on with your life fully energized, because your number one cheerleader is yourself. And how beautiful it is to have you in your corner, and have that person that's going to tell you all the things that you need at the exact same time, the exact words that you need, and that nobody is able to give you. And believe me, it's gonna it's gonna blow your mind once you realize the power that you have within yourself. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to DM me, to put a comment, to share this to the person that needs this, because it changed my life, and it's gonna change yours, I'm pretty sure. So please like, comment, and subscribe, share, and I can't wait to have you on the next